evening, everyone. After those very lofty thoughts, great insights that Governor Kiran Bedi provided, I'm going to be very prosaic in what I'm going to cover, because MSA has given me a task of covering the startup system in India, and I thought I would also add a few comments on Kerala. But first, I thought I should tell you a story about the risks a person takes by sending a video instead of coming in person. So a long time ago, I had organized a meeting in New York on the US-India relations and invited Shashi Tharoor to speak. I invited another very prominent business person who later became a member of the US cabinet, I won't mention his name, to speak. So this latter person at the last minute said, I have a deal that I have to sign, I can't come, I'm going to send you a video. So he sent us the video. And then we had Shashi speak first, and Shashi, is such a great speaker, held everybody in thrall. And after he spoke in Q&A, somebody said, what about the video from so-and-so? Because why do we want to watch the video? We've had a good time, and so they just didn't use the video. So sometimes a bit of a risk, but this was a great one. So, Anjali talked about a goosebump moment. For me, this is a goosebump moment to be back with so many friends here, so it's really wonderful to be here. And I proudly wear my TiE charter member pin. I've been fortunate to be associated with TiE Kerala from the beginning. I remember a meeting back in Silicon Valley when Mr. G.M. Menon was there and Bala was there. And the idea of starting a TiE chapter was mooted actually by Mr. Menon. And then I remember a meeting that I was talking to Hari about in 2005, the day of the tsunami. I don't know how many people here were at that meeting at the casino, the day of tsunami. So I've been here in some very interesting moments, and really great to be back here. I want to thank MSA for the invitation to speak. I want to say that, first of all, start by saying that as friends like Vijay Raghavan know, I'm a very proud Keralite. And I've been there for Kerala whenever to do whatever I can do to help or participate. But then Kerala actually gives all of us many reasons to be proud. It's well known that Kerala's welfare-oriented development model has resulted in high literacy, quality of life indicators that are comparable to developed countries. But what is not so well known is the fact, and it should be more well known, is that Kerala has also made progress on economic growth and financial indicators. The state's per capita income is 60% above the national average, which is a strong base to build upon. And Kerala is therefore an attractive location for people in other parts of the country to seek jobs, because the incomes are higher and jobs are available at certain levels. I always think that what California is to Mexico, Kerala is to places like Odisha, UP, Jharkhand, Bihar, and Bengal. As Dr. Geeta Gopinath of the IMF memorably stated, I think in this very hall a couple of years ago, Kerala is one of the best locales on the planet for the equity of opportunity. Regardless of one's origins or one's station in life, anyone can have a basically equitable level of access to the educational system, the health system, or the justice system in Kerala. And Kerala repeatedly appears at the top of the list for the least corrupt state in India. Now, this is important to investors and industry and entrepreneurs, and Kerala really needs to publicize this feature even more. Being in an ecosystem where fairness is the prevailing mode would be a very important consideration for any outside investor or local entrepreneur. I believe that a new moment for Kerala is here, potentially, as its knowledge economy can take advantage of the fourth industrial revolution that is unfolding. Kerala's traditional barriers in the realm of conventional manufacturing, as measured by some of the indicators that go into the ranking of Indian states for ease of doing business. These are like land availability, allotment, construction permit enablers, inspections, etc., become less relevant in this new world. The ubiquitous availability of connectivity is leading to a democratization of technology, and Kerala, with its high human development indicators, is uniquely poised to take advantage of this paradigm shift. So it is the availability of talent and the agility of thinking that is going to count more than the traditional legacy advantages of being close to major metropolises or industrial centers. But while Kerala has sustained decent levels of growth, is it enough? Many states are outperforming Kerala on the growth front. A major drawback of economic growth in Kerala today is that it is not generating adequate jobs to meet the expectations of educated Keralites entering the labor markets. Entrepreneurship has got to be part of the answer for job creation. The entire ecosystem, including the non-government sector, especially platforms like TiE and successful entrepreneurs, many of who are present here today, have a big role to play in this regard. TiE has relentlessly evangelized entrepreneurship, and it's really wonderful to see how TiE Kerala has, among TiE chapters globally, is really one of the truly innovative chapters, and that is recognized by TiE colleagues around the world. So let me step back a bit and provide an overview of the startup system in India. And I'm saying I bring to this my role as chairman and CEO of KPMG India, where we have 20,000 people situated in 25 offices. I want to also acknowledge my colleagues here today. Elias was mentioned. He heads up our infrastructure, government, and healthcare practice. And we're really honored to have Elias with us. For me, it's a very personal pleasure to have a friend. I have Setu, who's our head of our, who's managing partner for us in Chennai. We have Jay, I don't know where Jay is, who's our managing partner in Kochi. Prasad Unikrishan, very active, working in the state. So we have a number of very talented people working here in the state. I'm really proud of that personally. In the country, we do a lot of work in e-commerce and internet startups and startups in other fields. In fact, in India, KPMG has the largest startup and e-commerce practice. And we've been working at this for over 10 years. So all those who are interested, you must definitely go to the KPMG clinic that was mentioned. So we work across the ecosystem, from regulators, funds, marketplaces, and to startups. We work with Google and Facebook on market assessments. We work with critical support businesses like analytics, logistics, cataloging, packaging companies, which feed into the internet and startup ecosystem. And we work with governments, both in the center and the states, in the area of entrepreneurship. So let me take a few moments to discuss the ecosystem for entrepreneurship. First, the critical fundamental that a business needs is, of course, demand. And there is plenty of it in India today if you take a long-term view. In the short term, businesses are seeing headwinds for both global and local reasons. But in the longer term, if I look beyond a year, it is clear that consumer spending will steadily rise. And I say this based on my conversations with a number of the top CEOs in the country, including a roundtable I had just yesterday at the World Economic Forum, India's session in Delhi. And it is clear that people are very optimistic about the future, even though it is also equally clear that we have some serious headwinds in many sectors of the economy. Certainly at the high end of goods, there's an issue, but as we come to, if you come down to more lower priced products, it seems like people are still feeling very optimistic. And generally, the people I've spoken to feel that in about 9 or 12 months, the picture will go back to the old growth cycle. The expenditures on infrastructure, which have significant multiplier effects, is continuing in the short term as well. So bottom line, demand, which is fundamental to entrepreneurship, is there in this country. So in my experience, in the last 2.5 years since I've been back in India after 40 years abroad, I can say that I've seen an opportunity-rich environment here. It is an environment that I've not seen anywhere since the dot-com days when I used to be in Silicon Valley. And in my view, and the view of many of people I work with, India has at least a couple of decades of strong growth and demand expansion ahead, maybe more. Seeing the strong demand, innovators, entrepreneurs are starting enterprises. Last year, India added over 1,200 startups, taking the total number of startups to 7,200. In terms of numbers of startups, India will soon catch up with the US. India has some 25 unicorns and many more, what they call Soonicorns, companies that are going to become unicorns fairly soon. 2019 alone has produced over a dozen unicorns so far: Big Basket, Rebigo, Delivery, CTS Tech, and Ola Electric. Venture investors have told me that after Silicon Valley, India is the best place to see investment opportunities, well ahead of New York, Boston, and other US centers. And I think MSA made the point that while there is significant amount of venture investment in the country, we need to see more of that coming here to Kerala. The entrepreneurship scene in India is supported by the development of the ecosystem in the country. It's a very powerful ecosystem: incubators, accelerators, venture capital and PE funds, angel investors, corporate fund houses, regulators, corporations, and other ecosystem players. Now, this is a fairly new development. If you went back like 15 years, we didn't have this kind of ecosystem, which is really essential for large-scale entrepreneurship. So let me touch on some of the interesting trends that are shaping the Indian entrepreneurship landscape. So as the B2C layer of startups matures, with players like Amazon and Flipkart, we are seeing the center of gravity of India's startup ecosystem shifting towards B2b startups. India has added 2,300 B2B startups in the last 5 years, driven by increased investment, a growing number of B2B VC funds, and the unprecedented rise of advanced technologies like artificial intelligence and RPA. A related trend is the rise of assisted commerce, which brings together offline buyers, sellers, and local merchants. Startups have created over 100,000 assisted commerce centers to enable people to buy and transact online, like ShopX, Udaan, and Stoking. And add to this 50,000 Aadhaar centers across the country which are digitally enabled, and 100,000 flight ticket booking centers like Via.com, as well as a large train ticket booking platform which has 7 million tickets being booked each month. All of these are today ready and able to act as assisted commerce agents for customer acquisition in India. Another key trend is that of online-only and online-first Indian brands across fashion and retail, consumer health and personal care. Examples include Nykaa, Fresh Menu, and Milk Basket. We should note the maturity and growth we are seeing in the SME sector due to the digital revolution. The e-commerce companies have put small businesses on platforms that enable their growth. Ola and Oyo Rooms, as well known, have helped thousands of taxi drivers and small hotel owners achieve significantly higher productivity, and thus emphasizing the need and growth of a shared economy. There are many startups who are focusing exclusively on international markets. These are predominantly B2B startups in AI, IoT, marketing insights, process automation, and health tech. These are promoters, many of whom are expatriates with significant experience of working in Silicon Valley, as well as other places in the US, Europe, and the Middle East, and who understand the market requirements. They are leveraging the abundance of talent in India to come up with strong technology-enabled solutions for the developed and emerging markets. And examples are Freshworks, Loginext, Zoho, and InMobi. We are seeing startups focusing on customer clusters. There are specialized startups focusing on the needs of senior citizens, women at large, expecting mothers, farmers, non-employed customers, and software engineers. These trends can be seen across the key sectors which startups are focusing on India. Online education has been on the rise in India across K-12, from certifications to test preparations. This sector is seeing customers across age groups constantly engaging with ventures. From education, you can move on to gaming. Internet gaming is becoming a big play. The market is expected to grow to $1 billion worth in the next 3 years, with over 300 million gamers in India. And this opens up a new customer channel for B2C businesses. Fintech is one of the fastest growing spaces from a consumer acceptance perspective, from marketplaces for financial services to wallet companies. The growth of the internet is directly influencing the adoption of wallets and fintech products. I must at this point say that I've been really impressed by the efforts of the Kerala Startup Mission, the central agency of the state government for entrepreneurship development and incubation activities in the state. The mission was instrumental in assisting the government to formulate the startup policy that was launched in 2014, making Kerala the first state to have such a policy. And I've really been impressed to see the mission undertake extensive outreach. I remember seeing them at TiEcon in Silicon Valley. Various state governments are also actively investing and attracting investments for local startups by opening incubators and fintech clusters. TiE Hub, which I visited, the Hyderabad Technology Hub, launched in 2015, and the Techno Hub, launched in Jaipur in 2018, are two such examples. Built and backed by state governments, these incubators provide infrastructure such as seating, R&D, and innovation labs, and help engage with mentors. They often bring in seasoned leadership from industry who have a mindset to nurture entrepreneurs and, in fact, to give back. Kerala, too, has a similar setup, which was launched this year, the Kerala Technology Innovation Zone. Floated under the aegis of the mission, startup mission, and spread over 13 acres of land, the zone comprises of startup modules, high-end fabrication labs, R&D lab facilities, commercial spaces, and more. Interestingly, the Chinese company Oppo has announced a partnership with the Startup Mission to support tech startups and stimulate incubation. So Kerala, in fact, has many ingredients to be known as a state that leads in digital technology. With a population of 35 plus million, with its historical cultural openness to new ideas from around the world, Kerala can provide a tech-savvy ecosystem and the right ingredients for the state to be India's leading startup destination. The Kerala government, along with various industry bodies, is investing significantly to position the state as a leader in digital technology. The state's policies over the years in IT have helped. Investments in geographical clustering of organizations and incubation centers have enabled the development of a technology ecosystem. As a result, Kerala today accounts for 15% of the 5,000 odd technology startups in the country, which is one of the most enviable startup cultures across the breadth of the country. As MSA mentioned, Kochi and Trivandrum are active, but also now Calicut and going further to Kannur. And we have many success stories in Kerala and many successful Kerala entrepreneurs who have made their mark globally, nationally, and regionally, who can help lead the way. Young entrepreneurs from Kerala are already working on advanced technologies such as 3D printing, Internet of Things, robotics process automation, virtual and augmented reality, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. Some successful examples I've listed up here are Zappy Hire, born at the Startup Mission in 2018, using AI for end-to-end hiring solutions, including identifying behavioral patterns of prospective candidates. Shastra Robotics started in 2012, building intelligent robotic manipulators for industry with clients like Lockheed Martin, and Ignitarium, and AI ML-based solutions for Industry 4.0. So I think we have a very, very positive scene here in Kerala. And let me just touch on a few points. And these are the points that we had made some years ago in this book called Crouching Tiger, Sacred Cows, which some folks in the audience had contributed to. But some of them were creating a culture of entrepreneurship. I think Kerala has come a long way in that. So this book, by the way, came out in 2006. So the last 13 years, I could say we've done a good job on creating a culture of entrepreneurship. More needs to be done in revamping the curricula both at the secondary levels and the college levels clearly need to be revamped to meet today's needs, but I think there's a fair amount of progress there. I think it's important to make Kerala attractive for non-Keralites. So this place is a great place to live in terms of quality of air, environment, and so forth, but the social infrastructure is picking up. That might be an area where we would need to see more progress. I think Kochi is ahead of the other places in Kerala. And finally, involving Keralites, expatriate Keralites, to promote entrepreneurship here in Kerala would be extremely valuable. So in closing, I want to say that I think Kerala has a great future ahead in terms of entrepreneurship. I think India has several years of robust growth ahead, and in that growth, Kerala has a very large role to play. So with all of you engaged in that journey, my best wishes.